You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and this is the Schon design Ultem pen. I got this as part of the very first run of this pen, so there may be some details, some fine details and things that change over future iterations of this pen. I bought it at full price just as everyone else in the run did. I did not get this as a review piece or anything like that, but I do know Ian Schon. He is a delightful human being and someone I am always happy to get work from because, man, he is just a good dude, and he makes all these pens by him. Well, not by himself. He's got a couple of people work with him, but like he makes these pens all in his shop in Philadelphia, PA, and a worthwhile person to support in the pen community for sure. So go see him at all these places, and you'll see these as well in the description. So there you go. All right. That's probably not the permanent packaging, so I'm not going to bother showing it to you. I think that was just some packaging to get these into new homes. So let's talk about this pen. It is called the Ultem pen because it is made of a material called Ultem, which is, according to Google, a semi-transparent, high-strength plastic material that can operate in high service temperature environments. It is an amber to transparent thermoplastic with characteristics similar to the related plastic Peak. I've also got a pen in Peak, and not this kind, of course, but a pen in Peak, and I love Peak, and I really like Ultem. This stuff is high strength. It can take high temperatures. It's a little bit less expensive than Peak as well, I think, but this material is super cool, and Ian has done a lot of iterations. So this is a full-size pen. It is not like his pocket pens, the Pocket 6, etc., that we will see some of later on when we're doing comparisons for size. This is a full-size pen with a number 6 Jowo nib. Yeah, these are all made for your number 6 Jovos, although you can also buy a number 8 Bach section if you like. It doesn't come with a nib, but it's a whole section. You can put this giant Bach 8 nib in there. I don't have any of those nibs, so I haven't got one of those yet, but one day maybe, because man, that's a big nib. All right, so on this pen, you'll see the ends have a little bit of a dome to them, and a little bit of a point there. And similarly on the butt of the pen there. You can also see that it is semi-translucent. I guess it's fully translucent, semi-transparent. And you can see all these little red bands. And these red bands are O-rings. Ian really went for O-rings on this thing because he wanted this pen to be able to be used with a cartridge, a converter, or especially as an eyedropper because he got really fascinated by the idea of eyedroppers. And he doesn't like to put grease on things or require people to have extra stuff. And so he put enough O-rings in this thing that you do not need to use silicone grease to eyedropper this pen. You can just eyedropper it. Now I have a converter in here. I don't love eyedroppering things, so I just didn't. I might do it in the future just to try it out though, because that's some good engineering. So you see here we have a red O-ring at the base of the cap. You can also see here how thin those cap walls are, and yet very, very like strong plastic. It takes a really good material to be able to machine this thin. In fact, this whole pen, even capped, weighs 0.5 ounces. That is 15 grams. You take off the cap, it weighs 12 grams. This cap is 3 grams. It's like 0.1 ounce. It weighs nothing. Of course, there's no place for a clip on here or anything, so just, set it aside. Or, if you like, you can totally post it. It posts very nicely with this O-ring, and it's not going to mar the barrel or whatever. Ultem is some tough stuff. You also notice that this barrel is matte finished. He liked the matte look. I also have an Ultem pen that is polished. I think it's cool to have both. I think they both look really nice in their own respects. This one is made for me by John Albert. It's a custom out of Ultem as well. So same material, right? All right, so you have this O-ring there that serves all those functions. You're not going to have anything in your cap leaking into the pen, even if you manage to jostle a lot of ink into the cap, as I did when I dropped it a little bit earlier. A little bit of ink splattered in the cap. No big deal, totally normal. You can just wash it off. This stuff is pretty tough. As I said, this comes with a number 6 Jowo nib. I just have a medium in here, unbranded or anything. It's just I happen to know it's a Jowo nib because I bought it that way. You unscrew this. Now, this takes a lot of turns to unscrew the body. It does not take very many turns to unscrew the cap. The cap is probably like 2, maybe 3 turns. But to unscrew the body, it takes quite a lot. And look, he was putting a lot of threads there because he wanted to make sure that you could eyedropper this with no fear whatsoever. And I think he has definitely hit that. You also notice that there's an O-ring right here, in addition to all those threads. You can throw that over. Actually, we can take a look at this. Again, look how thin the walls are in this stuff. Most plastics you can't really do that with, and so this doesn't weigh much at all. This is filled with a converter, and then there are two more O-rings down here which seal off the section. Now, a lot of times you'll get a pen that you can eyedropper or just has a translucent or a transparent section, and you will see ink get up in here, and that is totally normal. It seeps in through the this little gap between the nib unit and the wall of the section. In fact, probably all of your pens have some ink in here. You just don't ever see it because you can't. But that's totally normal. Ian didn't like the look though, so we put these two O-rings in here. You're not gonna get any leakage in there. As you can see, I don't have a drop of ink in there. If you do get some ink in there, the thing to do is to take like a piece of toilet paper or tissue paper and just sort of press it along the edge there, and it will wick that ink right out of there. It's not usually very much ink anyway. Okay, so there you go. You can take that out if you like. There's what it looks like. Yeah, good stuff. All right, let's look at it next to a bunch of other pens. If I can get this screwed back on there without a cat hair in the middle. Now to screw it on, you do need to sort of push past this O-ring to get it started, or it won't grip those threads. Those O-rings are doing some good work, but they will stay in place. They have little grooves. I don't even know how he goes and places all those O-rings. It seems like it would be a huge pain in the butt. So try not to take those O-rings out, right? Okay, let's look at this next to a bunch of other pens and then do a writing sample. Okay, so here it is next to a whole bunch of other pens for size. This one right here is the Pocket 6, which is Ian's other fountain pen, which has a full-size nib, but is a tiny little pocket pen. Then we have the Ultem pen. This is the Franklin-Christoph Model 46. You can see the Ultem pen is just a little bit shorter than the 46. This comes in at right about 5 inches long, so good length, I think. You also have here the Platinum 3776, the Lamy Safari, a TWSBI Eco, the Diplomat Aero, this happens to be the flame version, then a Vanishing Point from Pilot, and the Pilot 823, which is a much longer pen than the rest of these. I just wanted to give you an idea of what the height was, so I included a bunch of pens. All right, cool. Let's take off some caps and look at some relative links that way. Okay, actually, let me go ahead and post this one. You wouldn't be writing with that unposted anyway. Okay. So there you go. As you can see, unposted, this is about the same length as the Franklin-Christoph 46, which is one of my favorite models. I love the length of that pen. You've also got pretty close to this here, 3776. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, let's put this in the mix. This is the Spoke Design Icon, which it came out at nearly the same time, and it's also nearly the same lengths and dimensions, which is kind of interesting because I don't think they talked about those things together. All right, so there we go. There's those two next to each other. So it's a little bit shorter than things like the Lamy and the Eco, but not a huge amount. I don't think you're going to really notice it too much on the page. So there we have it. Okay, let me go ahead and put a bunch of caps back on. Let's do a little writing sample. Okay, so here we have the Schon Design Ultem pen. I have it posted because I kind of like the way it feels posted. It gives a little bit extra length, although I can absolutely write with this unposted as well. It's just as comfortable one way as the other because this cap weighs almost nothing, which is really nice. I will say that this section is a little bit on the pinched side. It goes from about 10 millimeters in the middle to about 11 millimeters out here close to the nib. This is the widest part of this section, but I think 10 millimeters is actually pretty perfect for me. It's a little bit wider there than the spoke pin is. I think the spoke pin's right about 9 millimeters. It's just a little bit extra pinched, and I think the Ultem pen is a little bit more comfortable to write with because of my hand size and that sort of thing. But 10 millimeters is pretty solid size. Okay, so this is the Schon Design. That's design with no vowels. Yeah, the Schon Design Ultem. And you can see this nib is plenty wet. This is your standard Jowo medium nib. But also, I'll say I haven't had any problems with this pen drying out because this cap seals very, very well. And there's not a whole lot of room for air around this nib. Like, it goes almost to the end of the cap in here, and it's sealed off by this O-ring at the bottom. And so no worries about your nib drying out. I would be pretty happy with any ink I wanted to use in this pen. with no issues at all. But it keeps up very well, and this is just a standard medium nib, so no line variation or anything weird like that. You can, of course, get these nibs ground in a zillion different ways, and also you can buy lots of custom JoWo nibs. So you can find the nib that you like for this pen for sure. But the one it comes with is gonna write well. And also, I should say that if you have any problem with your Ultem pens or any Schon design pens, don't worry about approaching Ian for that, because he is really good at standing behind his pens and making sure that his customers are super happy with their writing instruments. So I'm always confident in selling these pens, suggesting these pens, telling people to buy these pens, whatever, pick your favorite. I like these things and I ain't afraid to tell you. All right, so thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more of these videos, hit that subscribe button. And if you go and get a pen from me and tell him I said hi, won't get you anything special, but hey, couldn't hurt, right? All right, I'll see y'all later. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.